So, I hope I'm not too late to this subject as I obviously know the Super Bowl was this past weekend, but I always enjoy a good halftime show, and I feel like every year everyone gets online to talk about that year's performance as well as who we all want to personally see perform in the following years. And we like to talk about female rappers over here, so this had me thinking, out of all the girls, who could hold their own and really headline a halftime performance for the Super Bowl? So the Super Bowl has already had many rappers grace their stage as well as female rappers. Notably, Queen Latifah, Nicki Minaj, MAA, and Missy Elliott have all performed during the halftime performance. But what is most interesting to me is that none of these ladies headlined. They were all simply guests brought out to accompany the respected headliner. Queen Latifah was with Motown Records back in 1998 alongside her fellow label mates. Nicki Minaj and MIA with Madonna in 2012, and finally in 2015, Missy Elliott was accompanying Katy Perry. With female rap growing to such new heights within the past decade, why haven't we seen a female rapper headline their own Super Bowl halftime performance? This is something that my friends and I have actually talked about before. There's so many girls that really possess that stage presence needed that really could make for an entertaining performance. There's also girls with such an extensive discography that really makes sense for them to perform their catalog of hits. So, I'm not gonna lie, I initially see this being kind of an issue. Rap itself really isn't a PG genre, and the Super Bowl halftime, it needs to be viewable for all demographics. I mean, this event is watched by everyone in the nation of all ages and backgrounds, so the show needs to be age appropriate. I think this is why we have seen so little rappers on the halftime stage prior to the recent 2012 performance and various guest performances in between. And even then, that performance didn't possess, all of those rappers' most vocal songs because we all know Eminem can really go there. Like, you feel me? Nonetheless, if a female rapper was to ever perform on that stage, it has to be done in an appropriate manner. And to be honest, some of these girls' whole brand is them being a little inappropriate. Like we cannot have Cardi B on that stage rapping about her wet ass pussy. It can't happen. um and I say that with no hate, but if any girl was to be given this opportunity, they cannot perform those hypersexual songs with hypersexual imagery. I mean, MIA already got in trouble for flipping off the camera during her performance. I do not think the NFL needs any more controversies coming their way. So I think there is a handful of old school girls that really could carry this performance. I know she was already brought out as a guest, but Missy 100%, most notably, in my opinion, due to her catalog, just for sure could handle this performance on her own. But in my opinion, there are two girls in this modern era who have the discography big enough and the stage presence strong enough to really deliver a worth watching Super Bowl performance. And I think those girls are Nicki Minaj and Doja Cat. And I know Nicki already performed at the Super Bowl, but I am talking about headlining. Both of these girls have the discography full of hits as well as the stage presence needed to entertain the masses. The only unfortunate thing I think about having either of these two specifically is that I do feel like the set list might lean a little more pop than it would a little more rap, only because I think the pop sound is obviously easier to market to all demographics. But I do think that these two girls really could do a mix of both and it would like come out perfectly. If they would ever take the stage, of course. So, another thought that I did have is they essentially could do something similar to the 2022 performance with various rappers and just have a handful of girls as the headliners and each perform, a minute or two of some of their songs. I think there's a handful of girls that would be great for this. I mean, Nicki and Doja, obviously, but I think it'd be dope to see other people like Meg, or even Cardi. They're very strong performers. And there's a bunch of girls that would ultimately be great for a joint female rap performance at the Super Bowl. And I don't really give an ish about their drama. I feel like they can all put that aside to create a monumental moment for women in rap. Ultimately, as much as I'd love to see a female rapper headline the Super Bowl, either old school or new school, or even an all female rap performance, I honestly feel like it will be a long time before we ever see that. Honestly, many of these girls, in my opinion, at this point in time, do not have the discography long enough to fully produce a worth watching halftime performance. And I think it's best for them to continue growing their artistry before that happens. But I am curious as to what you guys think. How do you guys feel about the concept of having one or multiple female rappers headline the Super Bowl? If so, who would you be most interested in seeing on that stage? Remember to please keep all comments constructive, and thank you for tuning in.